Hi, Captain Steve from BoatTest.com, and I do love the cruising lifestyle. That's why I'm so attracted to a boat like this. It's a couples cruising boat, might have a few guests to join them, but it's a comfortable boat to be on and a comfortable boat to operate. It's the True North 34 Outboard Express. I'm going to do a full sea trial and performance evaluation. The helm is starboard side mounted, compass in the center of the console, plenty of room for a large multifunction display. Optimus display giving us our engine information. Remote control for the 3 windshield wipers. Happy to see that, and I'm also happy to see that there's an intermittent control plus washer control on there. Display for the 2 Suzuki 300 horsepower engines. Zip weight controller, engine start stops. Electrical switches are all waterproof and lighted when activated. Thruster control over to the left hand side. Look at this steering wheel. What a beautiful job True North did on that woodwork. Engine controls over to the side with the VHF just below, and then the joystick just behind, giving you more functionality as you're coming into the dock. There's excellent visibility out these windows. I like that there are 3 windows. The center one is opening, providing a lot of ventilation, and we also have opening windows to both port and starboard. I also appreciate that we have an opening vent over both the captain's seat and the observer seat, and they open forward so they scoop air in right onto the operator and the observer. The seats are from LeBrock. The operator gets a 17-inch wide one, flip-down armrest, reclining seat back, flip-down footrest. It adjusts fore and aft, and it swivels. Over to the opposite side, the observer gets a 26-inch version, all with the same features. This one will also spin around to join the crowd just behind, and there's a flip-down footrest on the bulkhead just ahead. Now let's go to the stern and take a look at the engines, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on back here. First of all, engine of choice, 300 horsepower Suzuki outboards. We can go up to 350, but I'm not so sure that's going to be necessary because we get excellent performance out of these 300s.
We don't often get a chance to test Suzuki engines, so I'm going to take a moment to tell you a little about them. First, Suzuki makes 2 300 horsepower engines, one that is 4.4 liter with dual props, and this one which is 4 liters with a single 16-inch prop. The larger blade surface plus the extra long intake pipes and the engine's 2.08 to 1 gear ratio all help give these twin V6 engines the power needed to get this 17,000-pound boat up on plane quickly. Because of the gear ratio, these engines each have about 100 foot-pounds of torque more than some other 300 horsepower engines. That's 22% more torque, and you'll see later how it pays off.
Engine flush ports over to the starboard side so we can give a freshwater flush for the saltwater boaters, but the most interesting aspect is the way that they're mounted. Take a look at this. Porta bracket. We can bring this up electrically, up and down, so we can really get this boat operating in skinny water if we wanted to. More importantly, we can also get the engines out of the water at the end of the day when we're done with it. That's kind of a big deal. I don't think I've ever seen another boat in this class with this kind of functionality and versatility. At the transom, there's fender and line storage, and then just behind, dual 30-amp shore power connections with smart plugs. To both sides, 8-inch pop-up cleats, not pull-up cleats, and there are 3 to each side. Now this boat was originally designed as a stern drive version, so the engine was right here. True North correctly gravitated over to the outboard power plants, and it created a lot of space in here for more mechanical components. For example, there's a 4 kW generator. That's a diesel-powered generator, and it's plumbed to a 20-gallon tank. Batteries are just to the side. Notice right in the back we've got an underwater exhaust for the generator, so that's going to make you a nice neighbor at the anchorage. There's also room for an optional gyro stabilizer. From the cockpit deck, 2 steps up, each one 12 inches, brings us to the side deck. There's a convenient grab handle right at the back of the cabin. Another one at the top of the cabin, 20 inches wide to the side decks, and the rails top out at 28 inches. Fully forward, there's a Lumar windlass leading out to a roller mounted on top of the tow rail. Mantis anchor comes with a swivel. There's both a chain and rope rode. To the sides, 9-inch cleats. There's a washdown connection to the right-hand side. I'd also like to see foot control switches up here.
The True North 34 Outboard Express has a length overall of 39 feet, a beam of 12 feet 2 inches, and a draft of 2 feet 10 inches. If we add full fuel, full water, and 3 people on board to her 14,000-pound empty weight, we come up with a 16,705-pound estimated test weight. With twin 300 horsepower Suzuki outboards turning 16 by 17 three-bladed props and run up to 5,600 RPM, our speed averaged out to a max of 39.2 miles per hour. Best cruise was reached at 3,500 RPM and an average 18.5 miles per hour. That's where the 13.7 gallon per hour fuel burn worked out to 1.3 miles per gallon and a range of 303 statute miles. If distance is the goal, then drop her down to a 9 mile per hour speed and she'll keep going for 407 statute miles. All this while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 250 gallon total fuel capacity. Now note that this boat doesn't break 40 miles per hour, and that's on purpose. She was designed for a couple who want a comfortable, economic cruising boat, not to be blasting around hell-bent for leather. If you want to go faster, just get the Suzuki 350s. With the throttles pinned, we accelerated to planing speed in an average 4.5 seconds, continued through 20 in 7.4, and 30 miles per hour in 14.6 seconds. Bringing the throttles back down, saw her holding plane right on down to 16.5 miles per hour. This is a relatively low speed for this heavy boat and is because of that extra 200 foot-pounds of torque that I mentioned earlier. This is the positive trade-off for not having a higher top-end speed. Take your pick, higher top end or lower planing speed. Either way, True North will be glad to oblige you, and that's one of the good things about outboard power.
This is such a fun boat to operate. It screams, let's go on a long cruise, and pretty much that's what she's made for. When you accelerate, she comes up at a nearly level attitude. There's little to no bow rise, and she stays at a fairly level attitude too when we get into any beam wakes that we've got. I mean, we didn't really get big waves going on out here. It's less than 1 foot of wind-blown chop, so that's all we have to contend with here. She is a wet boat, mostly at lower speeds. If you pick up speed and put her at a cruise performance, then she dries out considerably and she becomes a much more stable platform and a drier ride. Coming around into turns, she again stays fairly level in the turn, which is unusual, but it's not a fast turn, it's not a hard turn, so it's not like you're getting pushed over to the side. It just stays comfortable and fairly level, so you're not going to spill your drinks. Acceleration is nice. She's a quiet boat. The loudest that we had on the boat was the generator running. The generator is an option, and I would strongly recommend it because it's nice to have the air conditioning going if you want all the windows closed up. I know I'm supposed to remain neutral and not get excited about the boats that I'm on, but this is a boat that I really am excited about because the cruising lifestyle appeals to me so much, especially the couples cruising lifestyle. And that's all coming together on this boat. She's a comfortable boat to be on and a comfortable boat to be in and entertaining on. But that's all covered in another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, this is my full sea trial and performance evaluation of the 34 OE from True North. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.